For this recipe, I just had some chicken quarters in the freezer, so I pulled those out and I'm going to cook those in the crock pot. So I'm just making up my rub here. I have a tablespoon of paprika, 2 tablespoons of garlic, half a tablespoon of Italian seasoning, and then half a teaspoon of each salt and onion powder. Then I rubbed those all over the chicken. I did do the tops and I flipped them over and did the back as well. Put those in the crock pot. Then I added in 1 cup of chicken stock and then used 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. You could even put in whole garlic here if you wanted to. This is just what I had on hand. Then I took a half a stick of butter and I just cubed that up a little bit. Put that right over the top of the chicken. Turned on the crock pot to low and I let this cook for about 4 to 5 hours. I went ahead and just paired this up with some cauliflower and some mashed potatoes. Not the most colorful looking dinner, but this did turn out really good and very tasty. On this night, it was beautiful, so we decided to throw some ribs on the grill. We're just using this rib back pork spice on them. So my husband is helping out. We're just rubbing those ribs down and then just throwing them in some foil. After that, we will put those on the grill. We were doing charcoal this night, so he was getting the charcoal ready. And then just threw the package of ribs right over the heat and cooked those. Once that was done, they came out absolutely beautiful. We just threw some barbecue sauce on top. This was such a quick and easy meal. I just paired it with a bunch of leftover sides and another delicious dinner. For tonight's dinner, we decided to make some vegetarian fajita quesadillas. So here I am just cooking up the onions and the peppers. Once those have cooked down a little bit, I'm also going to throw in a can of black beans that I rinsed and drained, letting those cook together and just kind of warm up along with the pepper and onions. After that, I have some of these cherry tomatoes. I'm just throwing those in there whole, and I'm going to let those warm up and cook in with everything until they're nice and soft. Then the fajita seasoning will go in, just a little bit of water and that package of fajita seasoning. Once that cooked down for a little bit, I did take my meat masher and I just kind of mashed up those tomatoes to make this a little bit more saucy. Once that was done, then these are ready to go on to our tortillas to make our quesadillas. Threw some butter onto my pan along with the tortilla and just let that warm up for a few seconds. Now I am throwing all of the mixture onto one side of my tortilla along with some cheese on top of that. Flip that over, let these cook until they're nice and golden brown, and these will be ready to serve. Here's what it looked like after I cut these up. These were delicious. My daughter even devoured hers. Tonight I am making crock pot lasagna. So I just cooked up some ground beef. Now I'm just going to go ahead and add that into the bottom of my crock pot. To that, I'm going to add in an entire jar of pasta sauce. Any pasta sauce will do. I'm just using a generic pasta sauce here. To that, I'm adding in a 32-ounce can of tomatoes. I will also add in about 2 to 3 tablespoons of minced garlic. Definitely use as much or as little as you like. I'm going to then add in 3 cups of chicken broth. You could use beef broth here as well. And then I'm going to add in about a tablespoon or a tablespoon and a half of Italian seasoning. Give this a really good mix. Put this on a low and I'm going to let that cook for about 3 hours or so. Once that 3 hours was over, I just took some lasagna noodles and I broke them up into bite-sized pieces and let this cook for about another 45 minutes until those were nice and tender. And finally, I am just mixing up the cheese mixture that we're going to put in here. So this is just 1 cup of cottage cheese, half a cup of mozzarella cheese, and half a cup of Parmesan cheese. And I just mixed that all together. Just gonna throw that right on top of the noodles and the sauce. Give that a really good stir, and this is ready to serve. I just added a little bit more Parmesan on top, and this was delicious. It even made for amazing leftovers. And for our final meal, I am doing some more Crock Pot. It was definitely a week for Crock Pot meals. I am making a chicken pesto. So I'm just gonna season these 2 large chicken breasts with some salt and pepper and garlic. After that, I'm going to take the juice of half a lemon and just juice that all over the top of both chicken breasts. Then I am grabbing a 4-ounce jar of pesto. I didn't end up needing the whole thing. I wasn't quite sure if my daughter was going to love this, so I didn't put as much pesto as it called for, but definitely use a whole jar if you enjoy pesto. I just made sure to cover up both chicken breasts really well. Then I'm taking a half a stick of butter and just cubing that and putting it right over top of the chicken. Then I'm going to cover up my crock pot and cook this on low for about 5 hours. Now that this is done, I'm just going to go ahead and shred up that meat really well. I also cooked about a half a box of rotini spiral pasta. I'm going to add that to the chicken, give that a really good stir. Then I'm going to grab some mozzarella cheese and just throw that over the top. Put the cover back on and let that melt down. Once it's all nice and creamy and melted, then this is ready to serve. My daughter even went back for seconds on this one, so this is one you're really going to want to try. I hope you enjoyed the video and you got some great new ideas for your family meals. Until the next one, I hope you guys have a blessed week.